I finally found that thing that fulfilled the thing inside that I was trying to fill with drugs, alcohol, women, all food, all that stuff. I finally found it.
All right, it's 11 o'clock on Monday. Welcome to the Chazz Palminteri Show. We got a great guest this week, but before we do that, you know what I always talk about. If you want to come and see the one-man show, the show that was voted best show of the year in Las Vegas and was a hit on Broadway, come and see A Bronx Tale, the original one-man show. Go to ChazzPalminteri.net. ChazzPalminteri.net. John, where am I going to be in the next few months?
August 29th, you're going to be in Riverhead, New York at the Suffolk Theater. September 14th, you're going to be in Munhall, Pennsylvania at the Carnegie Homestead Music Hall. September 25th, you're going to be in Nashville, Tennessee at the Schermerhorn Theater. And September 27th, you're going to be in New Buffalo, Michigan at the Silver Creek Four Winds Casino.
Wow. All right. If you never saw the show, folks, this is the show that started it all. Before the movie, before the musical. Also, don't forget to come to my restaurants. I have two of the finest Italian restaurants in the country. I don't say they're the best because there's a lot of great Italian restaurants in New York. Chazz Palminteri's on 30 West 46th Street and in White Plains, 264 Main Street. And my cigars, I'm telling you, listen to me. Sounds like a used car salesman. My cigars voted one of the top 10 cigars of the year, top 10 in 2023. Chazz Palminteri, A Bronx Tale Cigars. Okay, so folks, and wait a minute, my wine, Chazz Palminteri wine. Listen to me over here. Let it roll, I don't care. My Cabernet wine, which is doing incredibly well. So my guest, I'm sure you've seen him on so many shows. I saw his special. He knocked me on my ass. I had to have him on the show. And my guest, you see him 4 days a week on Bonfire SiriusXM.
Yep.
SiriusXM. He's also his special in Killbox. You got to go to Killbox. You got to see him there. Directed by the great Louis C.K. He's been to Iraq. I tell you, what a pair of balls you got doing comedy in Iraq. With the great Colin Quinn. He's a great guy and a great comic, Bobby Kelly. Bobby, how are you?
Hi, buddy. How are you?
Good. I'm all right, man. It's so great to have you on the show, man.
This is surreal, man.
No.
It's great.
It's great, man.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So I always ask comics, excuse me, this question. You grow up, where did you grow up in?
I grew up in Boston.
You grew up in Boston?
Yeah.
Okay. You grew up, you're a kid, you're in high school. Well, all of a sudden, one day you go, I want to be a comic. How'd this happen?
No, I grew up pretty rough. I was in and out of juvie jails a lot.
Really?
When I was, I started drinking when I was like 10. And then I went in and out of juvie jails from 13 to 15. So by the time I got to high school, I was kind of in this little, weird high school, like ninth grade.
Right.
And I went to 2 classes. Then I went to work at a styrofoam factory and I had to work my way back into regular classes. Then when I graduated, I actually got into art. I got into I was going to be a art teacher. So
Can you draw?
I can draw.
Yeah.
My whole art thing was based off a lie. My mother in 2nd grade got me a charcoal drawing kit for Christmas. And then my teacher, Mrs. Julian, was big on art. She loved art.
Right.
So she had us go home and, you guys draw something. So I drew a Great Dane, but my mother drew it. My mother helped me with it. She basically drew it. Yeah. And then I signed my name to it. I went in and presented it as mine. And then she passed me around the whole school as this artist savant. Yeah, it was a fraud. I had to go into all the classes and hold up this drawing that my mom pretty much drew.
Wow.
And then, but from then in my head, I was just an artist. So when I went to high school, because I was kind of in the special ed room,
right,
because of my past,
right.
The art teachers kind of took me in, the 2 art teachers, and I would go have lunch with them They'd take me out of school and we go to a restaurant and get food, and then we come back and I drew. And she got me a scholarship to Bunker Hill Community College for art.
Yeah.
So I went there as a artist, but I was kind of just going with the flow of it. And then in there, I got into acting as an elective, and I started doing plays.
Wow.
And then through that, they did a talent show. And in that, we wound up doing an improv sketch type thing. And it was me, Al Del Benny, and 2 other guys, and Dane Cook. You know Dane Cook.
Dane Cook, yeah.
And we wound up winning. We won this talent show at this community college. And I literally went backstage. I go, this is what I'm doing. I'm out. I'm done.
Right.
I literally quit college. I had 2 classes left to get my degree.
So you came to New York then?
No. We did sketch comedy in Boston for a while. Then we transitioned into stand-up. And then I was with like Patrice O'Neill, Billy Burr, me, Dane Cook, Bob Marley. That was kind of my group of comics in Boston. Right. And, slowly but surely, Dane went first, then Billy, then Patrice. And then this guy called me who was working at this agency and said, I like your acting.
Right.
Because I quit comedy. When they all were doing comedy at the beginning, I quit to do a couple films in Boston.
Yeah.
I started getting into that. So I quit comedy for like 2 years and did this. It's still on YouTube. It's called Last Night at Eddie's. It's like a romantic rom-com. Yeah. I was the romantic lead, if you can believe that. I was gorgeous back then. Yeah. And I did a play called 4 Dogs and a Bone. I wound up doing that off Broadway in Boston.
So you were really into acting.
I got into acting a lot back then. And then I came back to comedy, but those guys were already like 2 years ahead of me.
Right, yeah.
So as they left, I kind of had to go pay my dues. But then this guy called me up. He's like, I love your acting. Right. He didn't really like my comedy. He was like, I love your acting reel. So if you ever move to New York, I'd like to represent you. I moved to New York a month later. But it was Billy Burr. Billy Burr moved to New York, got a Gold Pilot, had to move to L.A., with like Carsey Warner back in the day when they were the hottest thing ever. He had an apartment on the Upper East Side, like right before 97th and Lex.
Right.
And I called him. I go, listen, you're never at your apartment. Let me rent it.
Right.
I'll pay the majority. When you come back, I'll hit the couch. You take the bedroom.
Yeah.
And when I say bedroom, it was just a bed in a hallway.
Right.
And we lived with this South African dude that had to walk through our bedroom to get to his room.
Wow.
And Burr was like, yeah, go ahead. So me and Billy Burr lived together for like 3 years in this crappy apartment. There was holes in the ground.
My favorite comic. He's great.
All right. He is. I know.
I know. We don't.
No, he's the best.
No, he's
the best.
Oh, so you're on this journey here.
Yeah.
But I was reading about you. You had jobs as a waiter, a delivery man.
Yeah.
This was all in New York.
I had 5 jobs. I worked La Familia Giorgio's.
Yeah.
A friend of mine. I told him I needed a job.
Right.
And he called me up. Jamie Giorgio. I had to go down and meet Stephen Giorgio.
Right.
Then I had to meet Al Giorgio. Then I had to meet Marianne Giorgio. I had to meet the whole fucking family.
Wow.
And I worked there during the day. And then I worked with juvenile delinquents. I worked at an overnight.
Well, that was nice you did.
I went back to one of the houses that I was in and worked there. And then I worked with mentally challenged. I lived in a house with 6 elderly Down syndrome guys.
Wow.
Because it was the only place, they gave me a free place to live.
Right.
I got food and I got paid $100 a week, but I had to be there from 11 to 8 in the morning, 5 days a week.
It's amazing. People don't realize, we live a life, but you got to pay your dues, especially in comedy.
Yeah.
Especially as a stand-up comic.
Yeah.
They said a comic doesn't really hit his stride till 7 to 10 years, they said.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told.
Or 25.
Yeah.
If it's me.
I know. I love comedy. I love comics because I'm an actor. I've never done stand-up comedy. I mean, no, I did do it for a little while, and I just didn't like it. And the reason why I didn't like it, I got to be honest with you. The reason why I didn't like it was because you had to hang out with comics all day in the back. And some of them are the most depressing people I've ever met in my life.
Oh yeah, we're terrible human beings.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's I mean, I have to make sure what I'm wearing, there's nothing on it that they can make fun of.
Right.
When I had hair, I used to have to make sure my hair was right. as soon as you walk back to that table where those guys are,
Where they're sitting around.
whatever's
Oh,
wrong
my
with
God.
you, you'll know right away.
And if you say something that's funny, they never laugh. They just go, "That's funny."
Oh yeah, comics don't laugh.
They never laugh.
I like that one. Yeah,
I like that. That's funny.
That was a good one. You should write. You should do that.
You should do that.
You should do that. That's what we do.
That's
if it's funny, you should do that.
You should do that.
You're gonna do. Oh, they'll go. You're gonna do that because I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Pete Corelli. You know Pete Corelli?
No.
You got to have him. He's the best. He's hilarious. He's from Long Island. He had a joke. I think a week after September 11th.
Yeah.
He's like, I got this joke, but I'm afraid to do it. And I'm like, what is it? He goes, he told me the joke. It was my in-laws are coming to town, and they want to go down to ground zero, and they want to see all that stuff, and I don't want to fucking take them. So I just took them to a construction site around my neighborhood and told him that was it. So he didn't want to do it. I go, I'll do it, and if I do it, I get to keep it. So I went up, I did it, it fucking killed.
Yeah.
And he came up, he goes, that's my joke. I need that joke. So I was like, all right, take it, yeah.
No, but but I spoke to a lot of comics about that. You don't steal another comic's jokes.
No.
That's the ultimate mortal sin.
Well, back in the day, in the Catskill days, it was actually okay.
Really?
Yeah, back in the day, it'd be like, hey, I used your joke up at, over here. Oh, well, how'd it go? It worked. I used yours. They did it, but there was a certain thing, I think, when Pryor and Carlin and these guys started coming in with such personalized comedy. Back in the day, it was a joke. It was a joke.
I see, yeah.
But when people started, like Pryor came back and started talking about his
Pryor
life.
was the greatest of all to me.
He was the best.
But he was the first one to bring in like personal pain and make it funny.
Yeah, you can't take that. You can't take. So when it became personal, I think it was like, look, this is mine. You
That's
know
a
what I mean?
very good point. I never realized that.
Yeah. And that's when comedy kind of switched over to you can't take somebody's jokes because comics started to make it personal,
Now, Bobby, when was your first, you would say, pretty good break, big break?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I think I'm still waiting for it, Chazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when I say, I don't mean break. I mean,
no, I hear you. I'm just joking with you.
I mean, that special I saw you, that was great.
I think my first thing where I was like, it's a weird thing because, in my brain, you're like, oh, if I do that, I made it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I made it. But in reality, I started looking at it a little differently since I had a kid. It's like, oh, I made it already. I made it the second I started doing comedy. Like when I'm doing what I love, even when I lived in the shithole with Burr and we had cockroaches coming up through the floor, we made it. We're doing what we love.
That's correct.
We're doing what we love.
That's
For a
correct.
living. I got to sleep till 3.
Right.
And then I'm going to do spots and I'm making money. I'm getting girls. I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm making people laugh.
Right.
I finally found that thing that fulfilled the thing inside that I was trying to fill with drugs, alcohol, women, all food, all that stuff. I finally found it. So it's like my first thing in the business that, I book shows. The first thing I booked, I thought I made it. It was a pilot. I was in LA. Remember, do you know Stu Siegel?
Yes, I don't know him, but I know who he is.
Yeah, and Frank Lupo.
I know these names.
He created the A-Team.
Yeah,
Okay, he's passed away now, but I booked a pilot. I went in for the audition. I was in LA, pilot season. Remember they used to have pilot season?
Yes.
You had to go to LA. People don't know. You had to go to LA for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And you had to go in and you get the stuff and park the car and walk through the shit and go into like bungalow and I'm sweating and trying to cool down. And I went in, I auditioned, and I bombed. I fucked up the lines. And as I'm leaving, I literally stopped at the door and I went, I fucked up. I need to do it again. And the lady was like, no, you're fine. The casting. Yeah, you're good. You're great.
Yeah.
Frank Lupo was like, do it again. And we usually don't have people that want to get it right. I went back in, nailed it.
Yeah.
I go, thank you for letting me do that. I would have been talking to myself in the car the way.
Oh,
home.
absolutely.
So I'm in the car. 5 minutes later, I get a call. Oh, they want you. Blah, blah, blah. They start throwing around numbers.
Yeah.
9,000.
Yeah.
10,000. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
They kept calling me back 15. I'm like, I'll do it for nothing.
Yeah, right.
So I wound up getting all the way down to the end. They go with the other guy.
Right.
But they call me. Frank liked me so much. He's like, we want you to be in the show, but you die the first episode.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah. So I go in. We shoot this show. It's a pilot. I'm literally walking around the mall with my hat down.
Yeah.
Like someone might recognize me. It's a pilot.
It's a pilot. Nobody saw it yet.
Unless the key grip was walking by.
Right.
Nobody's recognizing me from
Right.
anywhere. So I was like, of course the show didn't get picked up, but it was like, that was the first time when I had a trailer.
Yeah.
I sat in front of my trailer for a half hour because I didn't know I got a trailer.
Yeah.
The lady was like, Mr. Kelly, is there something wrong with your trailer? I'm like, what? And it was because it was my name
Your
in
name
the
was
show.
on it, of the
It
show,
wasn't
yeah.
so I didn't know. She's like, your trailer, is it okay? I'm like, oh, I went in the trailer. I remember jumping around. I used everything in the trailer.
Right.
I was so excited to finally make it.
Make it.
That was the first time that
Yeah.
I felt like all this hard work.
Yeah. People don't realize, and that's a big thing when you say addiction.
Yeah.
When you look at, there's the great physicist and psychologist Carl Jung, who said, when you look outside yourself, you dream. When you look inside yourself, you awaken. And it's really, whatever's out there is not going to make you happy.
No.
Whether it's drugs, alcohol, any of that stuff does not make you happy. You have to find it inside.
Yeah.
And, God willing, you found it. You have a wife, a child, bought a house. I mean, you made it.
Made it.
You made it.
I made it.
You are working, doing something you love,
Yeah.
making money, supporting a family. Look, even in my line, Bob, there's like, there's tears. There's tears. There's like the 5, not even 5 anymore. There's like 3 maybe. And there's Leo DiCaprio, who I love. Leo, he's a great human being, great guy. Denzel Washington, Daniel Day-Lewis. There's like, it used to be Will Smith. I don't know if he's anymore. They get to 20 million, 25 million apiece. Then you go down, and there's the other guys. And it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down. And you go, well, I got to get to there. No, I've been working 40 years and did very well for myself and been in great movies. To me, I made it.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah. I look around and I'm like, it's 4 walls that keep you out of the rain.
Yeah.
You sleep in a bed. I sleep in a bed too.
Yeah, you can
I
only-
go to the bathroom in a bathroom.
Right.
How big it is.
Yes.
How many, you know what I mean? It's like,
How many cars could you drive? How many swimming pools you
it
need?
does the same shit.
Does the same shit.
Like my uncle, he has a house up in New Hampshire, beautiful house on the lake. And we would go there for years.
Right.
And I was like, I want my kid to not be a guest, but I was always waiting to make enough money to
Right.
get the house on the lake,
Right.
to get the thing. Finally, I told my wife, I go, let's just buy some land and let's get a tiny house. We bought a tiny house
Right.
and we put it on this land and we get to go to the lake.
Right.
We sleep in this, it's a small, cute little house. We do all the same shit. We have a bonfire. We have a cookout.
It's great.
We do the same exact thing and we enjoy the same exact stuff, but it's not
Right.
what it is.
Yes.
But it's like, I'm sick of, I don't want to wait until somebody says, oh, you're good enough. I can do it right now.
You must live below your means.
Yeah.
You must.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
My wife's a nickel chaser.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So I wish I could. My wife is a spender. She loves to spend.
My wife's not.
But
My wife should have a shirt that says, you don't need it.
Oh my God.
She calls me Bobby Things.
You don't need it. That's great. You see, me, I'm like your wife. I don't need it. I don't buy it. You know what? My dream was always to buy and build a beautiful home.
Yeah.
Always wanted that.
Yeah.
And finally I was able to do that. But I have had nice cars, but I don't worry about that. But I live below my means.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I don't. If I want it, I get it.
Oh, you're one of those.
I'm one of those.
You're one of those. You see, you got to have it.
Because here's the thing, right? I never had it. And
Right.
now it's like, okay, I'm going to wait. And then, What if I never get it?
Well, it's okay to wait as long as you budget it and use it at the right time.
Yeah, I feel like I'm sitting with her right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I say this: if you see it, see it and go get it. It will happen. It will happen. Might not happen in the way you want it to happen.
Yeah.
It might not be exactly what you want, but you get it. You know what I mean?
There's a great saying, and because I do a lot of reading. I think it was Carl Jung again. He said, "Things are more valuable in the mind than they are in the hand."
Yeah, I know. You're right. I mean, you're right, but it
So
feels
true.
It feels good. It feels good.
Well, it feels good. It's a juice. It's like a pleasure.
Yeah.
There's a difference between happiness and pleasure, Bobby.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm, I feel like I'm doing a life coach thing.
No. You're right. I believe that there's excitement and then there's happiness.
There's happiness.
So excitement is when, a girl would say, come up after a show.
Exactly.
I really like you.
Yeah.
And she gives you the number and you're like, oh,
Right.
yeah. Happiness is when your mom calls you up and goes, all right, I love you.
Right.
All right, I love you too.
Happiness is when you're sitting by a bonfire, your wife and your kid.
Wife, that's happiness.
That's happiness.
And then, because the other thing, then you go to call the girl and it's the wrong number and then you crash.
Yeah.
Happiness is right here, right?
Happiness
You can't fuck with happiness.
You can't fuck with happiness, no. Happiness is a thing that's, it's a constant thing that you have to, the more you not concentrate on your problems get smaller. They did a study where the more you concentrate on your problems, the bigger they get.
You're right. It's 100%.
The bigger they get.
You got to let it go. You got to like slow down.
Yeah. They did a test. They did they got the 100 CEOs and they said to them, what is the number one thing for success? Most successful people in the world. And the number one thing is you'll never guess what it is. Adaptability. How you adapt to things that come your way. How did you adapt to COVID? How did you adapt to this?
Yeah.
How did you adapt to that? Some people fold up, they go into drugs, they crack. Some people just pivot and adapt. Adaptability is the most important. But I got to get, you were Colin Quinn.
Yep.
Went to Iraq.
The legend.
He
likes to be
Quinn.
called the legend.
Yeah,
Colin's
a legend.
You can't just say Colin Quinn. You have to say the legend. Colin
legend,
Quinn. Yes.
Now, what was that like in Iraq?
Well, Colin called me up, and he was like, I'm going to Iraq. You want to go? I think it was his second time. And I was like 100% because I love the troops.
Absolutely.
I love America.
Right.
I cry on 4th of July.
Right.
It's just, when they sing the Star Spangled Banner, I'm up, I tear.
Right.
I get very emotional. I get shit for that too. But when he called me up to do that, I was like 100%.
Hey, you saw the flag outside my house.
I was so excited when it was your house.
That's right.
When I was like, he loves America. It makes me, that's
Absolutely.
me. I love it. So I was excited, but I was terrified too, because, it was Iraq, right after the insurgents.
This is no joke.
No.
It's no joke.
No. And it's funny because when we got there, me and Colin, I didn't understand what we were going to be doing. Like I thought we were going to be doing shows, but they had us, we did a show in Kuwait. Like you land, in Kuwait was the transfer where they flew in. They flew from Germany to Kuwait, then in country.
Yeah.
So we did a show, 120 out, and I wore black sneakers. So I'm on stage, no canopy, no nothing, and my feet started burning. So I kept picking my feet up because I didn't know what was happening because I had black sneakers. I'm sitting in front of 200 soldiers, all with guns, squatting down, and I'm trying to put my feet in the shadow of my, so I could cool them off. And I'm like, my feet are hot. And the guy just, because you're wearing black sneakers, stupid.
Wow.
And I was like, so, and then as soon as you fly in, you get into a like one of those big Hercules C-130s.
C-130s, yeah.
And you sit down and you fly right into Baghdad.
Yeah.
And it's the real deal. As soon as you get there, you have to, we stayed in Saddam's palace.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we flew in, and it was funny because as soon as we got there, the guy was like, "Be careful," and I was like, he gave me a vest and a helmet. You have to wear that as soon as you get off the plane.
That sounds reassuring.
Well, then he goes, "Be careful," and I was like, "I know, bullets." He goes, "No. They had a zoo here. Uday had a zoo, and when we came in, they let all the animals out. We still haven't caught the lions." And I was like, "What the fuck did you say?" I go, "I don't have a chair and a whip.
What the fuck?
How do you fight a lion? I don't.
Yeah, right.
How do you be careful with a lion?"
Yeah.
And I remember when we were doing like I think 2 to 3 shows a day.
Now, when you say show, how long was the show?
Show was probably an hour and a half.
Each of you would do an hour and a half?
2 to 3 shows a day. So we would do a show,
Wow.
get into a helicopter, Chinook, and we'd meet every single soldier after every show. We'd go and we'd sit and do a meet and greet, and every single soldier would come up and shake your hand.
Were they a good audience?
The best audiences I've ever performed in front of, because you got to understand, they're over there. There's no entertainment. There's no nothing. They're in this tent or in the container unit, whatever, and they're going out and doing what they got to do every day, and they're coming back. So for us to come in and for them to have a live comedy show, and especially a guy, they didn't know me, but a guy like Colin to come in, and the other two, Steve Byrne, who was very funny too, to go in and make them laugh for an hour and a half, it was the greatest thing they've had in months.
Wow.
And they would come up after. Let me tell you something. I love people coming to the show, but hey, it was great, blah, blah, blah. But when they came up after the end of the show and they said thank you, it was like a different
thank you.
It was a really meaningful, listen to me, man. I really want to thank you for coming. It means the world to me that you were here.
Yeah.
And you felt it. And that was every single show.
Wow.
One of the shows we did was we were supposed to fly out into the Sunni Triangle at one point, and something happened. So we had to go to this other show, and we were grounded for like 2 hours. And we finally took off. We had to drive 100 feet off the ground at night in a Chinook, windows open, 50 cals, guys on 50 cals out the window the whole time because people would just shoot pot shots at the helicopter. And it was freezing. During the day, 120. At night, it was freezing. Somebody told Colin that it was cold at night because he had a big puffy coat. I had a jacket, and I was freezing my ass off for 2 hours in a Chinook helicopter.
I mean, it's not very comfortable, this whole trip.
It's not comfortable.
Right.
We got off the plane, and I lit up my little light sticks. We were 20 miles off the Syrian border at a Marine base because we did Air Force base, Army base, Marine bases. And I got yelled at immediately. The guy comes up, "Turn your fucking lights off. We're 20 miles off the Syrian border. You want to get fucking sniped, you fucking moron?"
Oh, he's right, yeah. And
then Colin walked up to me, and he goes, "You look like a plane landing a plane." Because I was fat at the time. And then we went into this little, it was a little tent, 20 Marines, 2 a.m, waiting for us for hours.
To do a show.
Waiting. No stage, no microphone. They waited till 2 a.m, and then we came in, and we just did a show. And it was amazing. It was the best thing ever. And we after the show, there was no food. There was no, they had stuff they had to heat in like hot water to eat. And these guys were the best. Then we slept in a tent on cots in sleeping bags.
So actually, you slept like they slept.
Some of the nights it was bad. It was like them. But it was awesome. I wouldn't have had it any other way.
And how is the food?
Well, here's the thing. Me and Colin, we were both chubby at the time. We were both like, dude, we're going to lose weight. We're going to work out. It didn't happen because a lot of the base's food is morale. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So we showed up the first day, and they had Chinese food, pizza.
Oh.
They had milkshakes.
Right.
So I remember I was walking back to the table. I had 2 milkshakes on my plate. And and one of the Army guys was like, "You gonna drink both of those?" And I kind of being like fatso. I was like, "No, you can have one." And he took one. And then I went back to the table, and mine spilt on the table. And Colin was just laughing at this guy, "How fatso?" Because I couldn't get another one, so I was kind of bummed out that the other two had mine. But we ate some of the bases were amazing, but the Marine ones, the ones out in the outskirts, they didn't have anything. You know what I mean? So. It was base to base. I learned too. That was when I learned that the branches of the military, they don't like each other.
Well, there's a big competition.
Everybody hates the Air Force because the money goes there first.
Right.
So their base, internet, Xbox,
right.
All kind of shakes and all. Then the Army, the Marines don't get shit. They're out in the middle of nowhere, and they have to eat bag food and stuff like that. So they're all bitching about, and everybody hates the Italians because the Italians had wine, cheese. They could watch the girls. They could get girls.
Right.
So a lot of the girls from the Air Force Base would go over to the Italians, and plus their uniforms, they look like supermodels. It's all black, tight.
Right.
They had shoulder pads. They had
Fucking
berets.
Italians,
yeah, they fucking nobody liked those guys.
Only they're the first ones to run.
But it was probably one of the best. I actually got in trouble because one night we were doing a big show, and outside, crazy show, and there was a full bird colonel to my left, kind of sitting with his legs crossed, and I just started trashing him. I was like, dude, you can't sit like that. These guys have to respect you. I just started making fun. They're dying. They're just cracking the fuck up because I'm trashing a full bird colonel.
Right.
I got in trouble. Because you're not supposed to do that.
Really?
Yeah, because dude, he's
not in front of the men too.
Nah, I kind of messed up. Colin loved it because the USO lady was like, you can't do that anymore. But
do you have to be politically correct there?
A little bit. You do. That's the one thing. Our Army, there's no alcohol, there's no porn. You really can't be too crazy over there. There's a lot of rules for those people. So we had to be a little bit, you know what I mean? And I understand it.
Did they say that to you? You can't say nothing about our president or this or that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why who the fuck would want to do that anyways? You go over there to make them laugh. You're not over there to make your political statement of whatever horse shit you got to say.
Right.
So no, it was, not too much, but a little bit. You had to make sure that you weren't stepping on any toes, but it wasn't that hard. You couldn't be too dirty. I'm a little dirty. I'm a little blue. I had to lighten it up a little bit. And it was hard because you're looking at these guys. These are killers. You know what I mean? They're regular guys, so they kind of want to hear.
Yeah.
But,
now, when you do your set,
do
you modify it when you do something like that for the Army?
Yeah.
Do you write new jokes or?
Well, it's hard because you're with Quinn, who wrote, a half hour every time we went to a new place. This asshole.
Well, yeah, he's very prolific.
He makes me sick to my stomach.
He's very prolific.
He's and he's from Brooklyn. He shouldn't be.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be.
Yeah.
When you talk to him, you're like, he's not, but he is.
He is, yeah.
And he would come in with 20 minutes of new. I mean, he'd walk through the base and have 20 minutes of new stuff on that base. And you'd go up and do your jokes. And he'd be like, ugh,
Right.
He makes you feel shitty.
Well, he's very prolific.
Yeah, he is. He's one of the best in the business.
Now, do you have your routine? I mean, obviously, comics have to change, but do you have like a set that is like a killer set that you do places where you never worked before or something like that?
I don't know. It's stand-up for me is personal, so it has to happen for me to talk about it.
Do you know what you're going to say before you get up there?
I know, I do. I know my set. I know what I'm going to touch on. I know the jokes I'm going to go at. And I try to sprinkle in the new stuff in the middle somewhere. But when I get up on stage, I don't like to see the crowd. I don't want to hear them. I don't want to see them. Because when I walk up on stage, I want it to be if I look and there's a guy's head that's weird, I just went, what the fuck is that?
Right.
I want, if I see somebody wearing something or something happens or somebody says something, I kind of want it to just happen right there and then.
Are you one of those comics that speaks to the audience?
Yeah, I can. But I learned a long time ago because when I first moved to New York, I got very good at the improv, the crowd work.
Yeah.
Just going up and fucking with the crowd.
Right.
And then I would go back to my jokes and they weren't as good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like I would go up and I would host a lot, so I'd fuck around. And then I go into a joke, and it was like wah wah.
I think you got to do one or the other.
I had to go back and make my jokes as good as my crowd work. If your jokes aren't, if you can't go into a joke, I need you to go after. Well, I want you to go. What was that all made up? Nope. You don't know what was a joke. You don't know how I transitioned into that.
Yeah.
That made me go to this one. That made me go to that one.
Right.
So it's like I think your jokes have to be as good as your stand up or your
good-
crowd work.
It's a very good observation.
Yeah, you should be able to go in and out of crowd work and your jokes seamlessly where they don't know the difference and it's just as funny.
Yeah, you're young, so you wouldn't remember him. But the best comic I've ever seen, and I think he started the whole thing about a comic being an MC when I saw him in the 70s was Richard Belzer.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody work a crowd like that guy. I
Yeah.
mean, he was like, and one of the great jokes, John, one of the great jokes he ever said, I got to tell you, was he was working the audience, and he goes, I never forgot this joke. And he goes, what do you do? And he goes, I work for a radio station. He goes, oh, a radio station. Yeah, and I'm saying to myself, where the hell is he going with this? He goes, what do you do with the radio station? He goes, I sell airtime. You sell airtime? Oh, how much you think all the air in this room is?
Yeah, he was great.
The way he did it was so fucking funny.
Yeah, I love his career trajectory too, where he
He had a
Law and Order.
Yeah, he was
which was great.
Bells was as far as working a crowd, man. I never seen anybody work a crowd like that.
I like when because I think comics get a bad rap for acting, but I think comics are great actors, especially dramatic actors.
Not all comics.
Not all, but I think, I love when I see a comic doing a dramatic thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like our comedy's tragedy. You know?
Yes,
So
but
it's
but see, comedy is all you. Acting
Yep.
is something different.
Yeah.
Now there are comics that are wonderful Robin Williams is a wonderful actor.
Yeah.
And a great comic. And Bill Burr, was a terrific actor.
Adam Sandler. I think
Adam Sandler
is
Let me tell you something about Adam Sandler. I forgot the movie. I just saw that movie about the basketball coach.
yeah.
He was just fabulous.
He's an amazing actor, and I don't think because he made all these. And I love every movie he does.
Yeah.
But his acting, man, he's so good.
It's going to take him a little while for the people to realize what a great actor this guy is. He was really, really good. Now, there's other comics who say, and I can't act, and I do. Jay Leno was like that.
Yeah.
Jay Leno was like, hey, I'm not an actor, I'm a comic.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld, same thing.
Yeah.
What they do is like the top of their league.
Well, they write jokes.
They write jokes. And
They write jokes.
Acting is a whole.
I think comics who are personal with stories and stuff,
Yeah.
I think are good actors. I think guys who write jokes and is like different styles of stand-up
Yeah.
is like great joke writers. I love joke writers. Seinfeld's one of the best joke writers ever.
Absolutely.
But he writes jokes. It's a joke. It's set up punch tag in a
Yeah.
certain thing. But I think guys who go up there and kind of are vulnerable with you, the crowd.
Right.
I'm going to tell you something that happened with me and my wife that I shouldn't tell you.
Right.
You shouldn't know this, but I'm
Right.
going to tell you, and I'm going to recreate the energy and the hate and the fear and the anxiety of it. And the women are going to relate and the guys are going to relate.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, dude. So I love when a comic, when you leave and go, dude, I feel like that. I felt,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I think those guys are good actors because to recreate that fight you had with your wife
Right.
and do it in front of a bunch of strangers.
Right.
It's almost like your one-man show. To
Right.
recreate those moments,
Right.
because I saw it, it's like, in my brain, I saw the movie first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I was going to see it. I'm like, how the fuck is he going to do this?
Right.
It's like, how is he going to bring me back to those? And you did it. You had to
Right.
become that kid. You had to become
Right.
those guys.
Yes.
And I had to not see you as I know you and love you. And you pulled it off by going into that thing. And I was like, and at the end of it, I'm like, fuck. It's like, I got to get a notepad. I got to write a one-man show.
Yeah.
And it's inspired. I mean, I didn't do that, but it inspired me.
No,
for
most people say after they see my show, they're going to write a one-man show, and they don't do it.
it's hard, dude.
It's very hard.
It's
very hard.
It's a hard.
It's very, very hard. I think 2 people said they saw my show and they said they were going to write a one-man show that I know of. That the only 2 people ever really saw it and said I'm going to do it was Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he did it.
Mike Tyson saw it and loved it. And he goes, I got to do that. And this other girl.
I saw his. His was good too.
What?
Mike Tyson's.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mike's was very good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, Bobby, it's been great having you on the show. Tell us where you're going to be. How could they see you?
I'm on the Bonfire with Big J Okerson Monday through Thursday.
SiriusXM.
SiriusXM. I got a podcast with Paul Verzi. You know Verzi.
Yes, Paul was on the show.
I love him.
Great. Funny guy.
He made fun of my chain.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh, God.
I like it.
What are you talking about, Chazz?
It's a little 80s, but it's nice.
Come on, it's not 80s.
It's a little,
It's not, but I didn't get the chain. Like, Verzi got the chain because of the chain. You know what I mean? He's got the gold.
Yes.
And it hangs out.
Are you Irish?
I'm Irish-Italian.
You're Irish-Italian.
Yeah.
Are you more Irish or more Italian?
I mean, this is a loaded question.
The gold chain tells me you're more Italian.
First of all, it's not gold, it's silver.
Silver,
So
okay, I'm sorry.
Let's back off. Let's make it worse. But
Okay.
I got the chain. I didn't get the chain for the chain thing. Like, Verzi got the chain.
You just like it.
Verzi got the chain to let you know I'm Italian.
Right.
I got the chain because I liked it, and I was in a little silver shop in Portsmouth, New Hampshire with my wife, and I bought it.
Your wife let you buy it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, she let me buy it. Well, she didn't want me to buy it.
She didn't want you to
told
buy
me,
it.
She goes, you don't
She
need
said,
it.
Bobby, things
you don't need
can't
it.
buy it.
You don't need it.
You don't need it,
Then I
right.
bought my son one too, so we both have matching silver chains.
Nice. It's
But
very nice.
It's not. I know you don't like it.
No, I do like it.
No,
I
you
do
don't like it. I'm gonna get you one.
I couldn't wear it.
Why couldn't you wear it?
See, me, you put anything on my neck, they go, huh, Goomba.
What are they? What do you? When I do it, what do you say when I do it?
I say there's a guy with a silver chain.
I mean, I can unpack that for 3 weeks.
Yes,
There's
you
a guy
No,
with a silver chain.
No, with me, it's like, I'm known for the Italian things, so they would say,
Well, you gotta have something. You got like a Rolex.
I got nice watches.
You got nice watches, right?
Yes.
What kind of watch? Because I'm a watch guy.
Yeah.
I'm a big watch guy.
I mostly have Breitlings.
Breitlings? I
Yes.
got a Breitling.
You do? Okay.
I got a Super Avenger.
Nice.
Love
nice.
what you got.
Breitlings are very nice.
You got the Bentley, right?
No.
What you got?
I don't want to talk about it.
All right.
No, yeah.
I'm
But
a big watch
you look great.
Thank
so
you,
if
buddy.
they could see you on
They could see me on the Bonfire. They could see me on Bone to Pick
Bone to
with
Pick,
Paul Verzi.
which I'm going to be on.
Buddy, we've been talking about you being on the
I'd
show.
love to be on.
When we started the show, we're like, no guests.
No guess.
No guests. And if
Yeah.
we do have a guest, it's got to be a big guest.
Okay.
And we started going through the list of guests.
Right.
We go, Chazz Palminteri.
I love it.
We got to have, we're talking Dominic, right?
Yeah.
We want Leary, guys who have bones.
Yes, and tell Dennis Leary I want him on the show.
Tell him right now.
So, Dennis,
Dennis,
I'd love to have you on the show. I hope you can make it.
I think you have to call him a legend.
And you don't live too far from me. Come on, Dennis.
I think you have to call him a legend too. I think he likes
Dennis
it.
is one of his great jokes. I want coffee. I walked into a 7-Eleven. I asked for coffee. They want maple coffee, juice coffee. No, coffee.
Yeah, he's the
I
best.
never forgot that.
He's the best. So yeah, you can check me out on that. Hopefully you're on that. And then check out my special on Punchup.live.
Okay,
It's for
buddy.
free. You can see it for free.
You got it.
You got it, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
It's good to see
It was
you,
a
buddy.
pleasure, man. It was
Pleasure to
so
meet you.
great to finally meet you.
Good to meet you. All right, that was the show. See you next week. Don't forget to go to ChazzPalminteri.net. Check it out. Come and see me live. See you next week. Bye.